I forgot what I was reviewing at first. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast. In this episode, we're going to give you our review for Barry, episode 5.
What he meant to say was episode 4. Oh, and subscribe on the
Season 4, now streaming on HBO Max. My goodness, so much has happened in this episode, and boy, can Anthony Kerrigan act. I think this was like a spotlight, and as NoHo Hank, man, this was beautiful. So let's get your starting thoughts.
Yeah, surprisingly, like for an episode that didn't have much of Barry in it, it was actually really like a lot of shit happened. It was so full of like comedy and drama. It was so like it had a nice balance of everything. Yeah, so yeah, of course Barry has escaped, and Hank and Kusino are kind of like going into hiding a little bit, and they're kind of like making these like very drastic, impulsive decisions. Sarah is kind of getting more into like her acting coaching a little bit, and she helps out this
Sally.
Don't
get it twisted, girl.
I'm sorry. I'm still new to this show.
Yeah.
Don't crucify me, guys. Sally is getting more into like this acting coach kind of career. But yeah, what were your thoughts on this episode, Akron?
Yeah, so I think the reason why the show has such a high score on Rotten Tomatoes is because how well they handle the pacing and delivering different bits of these characters and making it impactful. So with the runtime, you have to like have everything on a high all the time in order to make it work. And so this episode, I think, was masterfully done. So we see Kusanao is afraid. He's going into hiding. It's pretty hilarious too that he's hiding, and he like some funny like quotes with his manager. We also see NoHo Hank celebrating or trying to have a party, and there's a revelation that happens a little bit later on. I was really shocked. I did not expect this to happen whatsoever. But also Sally, I thought that was funny too. That was so funny because Sally was there as an acting coach, and she met the director from Coda. That I love that movie, dude. I felt like to cry, and it's so funny they mentioned that too. I was like, "What the hell, really?" And it's so funny when Sally was trying to like teach the student, if you will, how to like deliver these lines, and then she turned around to the director and was delivering it, and then the camera moved to block the other girl. I thought that was really funny. Right. Sally, I think, is really confused. I think Sally, in a way, she feels very disrespected, and she feels like a lot of times she's not good enough. I think she has it in her because she does get these opportunities in the previous seasons and in this season. It's just I think maybe she feels like she in a way doesn't deserve it. She was abused in the past, and she was yelled at and like in season 3, and she was really submissive, and I felt really sad in that scene in season 3. So I feel like in a way, it's kind of funny because she's kind of similar to Roman in a way. She kind of thrives in this masochistic, echo chamber of hers.
Right.
And we do see that at the end too. We see like a big revelation. I'm like, whoa! It's kind of like Bonnie and Clyde moments, right? Wink, wink. I feel bad for Fuches too, actually, because Fuches got beat to hell.
I'm so sad for it. Yeah.
But he got the most respect too because everybody thought that he just did it. He was like tight-lipped. It was really funny.
He ain't no snitch.
Right? Yeah, he ate. He was like,
right. He ate and left no crumbs, as you young people say.
Well, what else did you think of? What did you think? I want to get your thoughts. I think. Let's talk about NoHo Hank, and I keep calling him Colosimo. What's his boyfriend's name? I don't know why. Cristobal. I don't know. I know someone named Colosimo. That's why. What are your thoughts on that? Because that was my goodness.
Firstly, I kept cracking up at the Dave and Buster's thing.
Oh yeah,
when the SWAT team came in.
Yeah, average Philly Dave and Buster's. Yeah,
basically. Yeah. Well, it's funny. I thought the sand trap thing was actually Barry. I thought like maybe he set that up, for Hank, and then to find out it was actually Hank, and then he actually went along with the Chechnyans, and kind of like set this whole trap for Cristobal. It's sad, but it's like there's a truth behind it because it's like they at the end of the day they are crime lords. So it's like they have to make these very cold decisions, right?
Yeah.
You can't live in this fantasy world, right? Where you think you can go legit. Once you're in the system, you're in the system, right? It's like it's in your blood. So it was kind of tragic to see, how it went about, and yeah, it was the final straw, and then Cristobal just couldn't handle it, and he tried to leave. But at the same time, I'm like, well, what's gonna happen, right? If you leave this house, right? It's like you're not gonna leave, with your head on your shoulders, right? But maybe it's just a testament to like he would rather, not live than live with this person that he couldn't even recognize anymore, right?
Yeah, and so in the previous seasons, this was perfect writing, by the way. The writing in the show is so good because in the previous seasons, Cristobal, of course, was married and they had to take care of the wife. And then everything came together in this season. So there was like a house that exploded, I believe, last season or 2 seasons ago. I'm not too sure. It was a long time ago. And Cristobal was walked away from that and Barry delivered him to Hank. And so I found it very poetic that this time Cristobal's walking away from Hank, and that's the last time he's going to be walking away. And it's like, again, Cristobal has his own code. Hank has his own code. Barry also is trying to redefine his, because originally Barry's code was to kill bad guys. That's it. It's not actually to assassinate like good people. He never seen it that way, but Fuches took advantage of that. And so I think that this was done in the most kind of, I wouldn't say it's disrespectful. In a way, it's kind of respectful for the characters because, again, Cristobal has his code, and no matter what, he's leaving that door, and he's going to die by that code. So in a way, that's kind of like, it's tear-jerking, but it's sort of respectful. I don't know. It's like sick, kind of,
It was kind of bittersweet because, like, when the henchman came through the door, you thought maybe Cristobal was gonna come back.
I thought that was him. I was like,
I thought so too. I was like, oh, is he gonna come back? Are they gonna kiss and make up? But then it's like, oh no, it's like once it was like you heard the voice of the other guy, it's like, yeah, it's done deal.
Man, and you see him there on the ground. Again, this is the final season, so anybody could die. I mean, really sad stuff. I wonder how NoHo Hank will change. I wonder if he'll be more aggressive too. I mean, he has like all the power now, so I wonder if he's actually going to go after Barry for some reason, like take out his frustration on someone.
Manhunt, yep.
Right, and plus he had the police, because again, this whole thing is like a complicated mess. Sally, again, she really shined in this episode, I must say, as does she like every episode. Again, her character is very complex, and when she arrived at the apartment, we see, which actually kind of scared me too. It was like that hereditary type of jump scare I was talking to you a long time ago.
I was thinking the Riddler was going to come out and like hit her with a...
What do you think of that? What do you think is going on at that moment in her mind when she sees Barry and she actually says, let's go?
It's a concoction of fear, but also kind of, in a way, relief, I guess. Because I mean, remember she did say that he made her feel safe, right? So it's like, it's a love-hate relationship. She hates to love him, but at the end of the day, it's like, I haven't watched the previous season, but I can just tell like they had like a very close, relationship. So it's like, it's kind of hard to see somebody that you were so close with, like, go away for so long. It's kind of like a instant gratification in a way. But I was very confused at that last scene. I want to get your thoughts on that actually, because it was very like open-ended. It was very surreal. Like, what did you think of that whole scene?
Well, before I just want to point out that I think they wrote a very authentic character that went through abuse. It's very hard to get out of that abuse, and so there's different levels to it. And so it's almost like a direct parallel to her previous relationship, where she just got right up and left, and she basically didn't confront the guy at all. She, in her mind, wanted to play that she was like, oh yeah, fuck you, this and that, but she actually didn't. She like ran away. Oh wow. And so here we see that she is like all on board, like, let's go, let me go, my abuser, like I can't escape. There's so many moments where you just can't escape. Barry can't escape death. Hank can't escape this crime family. He can't escape this violence, and she unfortunately can't escape abuse, and probably Kusanao can't escape the past. He thinks he can't get away from his ego. So at the end, I was confused on that too. It was pretty abstract the way how they did it. It kind of reminded me of like that director who directed Neon Demon or Only God Forgives. It's like something kind of really interpretive.
Yeah.
Which also confused me too, because we seen flashbacks and I thought that was young Barry. And I think Fuches even said something about Barry to the child Barry. But then here we see it's like Barry goes by a different name. Yeah, and Barry's actually... There were scenes, I think, in season 1, season 2, where Barry pictured a different life with Sally and raising kids. One was like in the future. This one seems kind of like in the past a little bit, maybe. I think now we're getting to a point where Barry is seeing his children. It's almost like a reflection. Rather than like a better version of himself, it's a reflection. And perhaps that shows that Barry can't escape. He can't escape who he truly is. This show's about acting, right? There's only a certain point where you have to, act this way, but eventually you're going to have to stop acting and face the truth. And Sally looks very disillusioned with her life, I would imagine too, like where they're living. It's very barren and isolated. I think the whole setting, I think everything came together. And again, it was like a very like interpretive thing, but I think it just conveyed the emotion and the direction that I think this relationship is or will go through. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of took it as like his reaction to like her saying that. It was like it just clicked in his mind, and it's like he kind of like saw this, like you said, disillusion, but at the same time, it's like it's also a reflection of his past life, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, there's nothing else you could do about it, Hank spoke true to Cristobal. You're very naive. You gotta be realistic. And I think this episode was all about just the real and living in the present and dealing...
Facing the mirror. Yep.
Exactly. So what would you rate this episode?
Oh, it was a beautiful episode. Even though I'm not really like familiar too much with the previous seasons, I love this, and I think this, like you said, does a really good job with pacing. We've seen other shows like Hell of Tomorrow where they actually they're given a small runtime, but they kind of fumble the bag a bit. But this one, I loved it. It really came together really well. So 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. I was so hoping you would say 10 out of 10 because it was 10 out of 10 for me too. Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I can't wait for the next episode, episode 6.
What he meant to say was episode 4.
So guys, stay tuned. That is our review for Barry, episode 5. Again, now streaming on HBO Max. Guys, if you like this video, I actually like this video, please, it'll greatly help us out. And also check out our other reviews. We have a lot of content coming your way. I want to thank our new subscribers. Welcome to the lunch table. Thank you so much. We love you. Dylan, take us away.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting our channel. We are almost at 400 subs. We're well on our way to becoming, a big name. But yeah, we can't do it without you. So any support you can show us, please do. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. You can listen to us on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course YouTube. And check us out on Instagram as well, where we can update you daily. So yeah, thank you guys so much. And until then, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you guys.